So what is going on, guys? NandoPrince93 here with another quick video, and I went to go into my settings the other day, and what I noticed was that there was a software update. And if you guys can see into the about section, I am on software version 13.1, and you guys can see the E. So this is like one of the first betas that came out for 13.1. And before I get into the video and discuss all the changes and some of the visual features that you guys will be able to notice, Apple's got to get their naming right. So, I mean, there's rumors that the new iPhone is going to have a bunch of different names. They're finally going to drop the numbers. And now they've designated iOS 13 and iPadOS as two separate entities. So, like, they should make this iPadOS 1 and then 1.1 as opposed to keeping the 13. Yeah, there's a ton of similarities. I'm sure there's an 80%, 90% overlap from iOS to iPadOS. But still, come on, get the naming done right. This is, in my opinion, iPadOS 1.1. But as you guys can see, I am on 13.1. So we're going to kind of just discuss some of the changes that happened. Again, these are minor tweaks, but a little more visual features than there were in the last beta that I talked about, which was iPadOS beta 8. So let's get right into it. So the first one I'm going to show you guys is kind of more of a foreshadowing more than a feature. So if you go into the wallpaper, where is it at? Into the wallpaper, and you go choose wallpaper, there's a bunch of new dynamic colors, which I think is going to be the colors for the new iPhone 11R, for lack of a better term, because we don't know what it's going to be called yet. So I think we're going to have a yellow, green, red, blue, a white, a black, and then I think what this is, I think Apple's making a play against Samsung, getting some sort of color shifting aura color, which will coincide with this wallpaper. So that's the first thing that you notice. There's new dynamic wallpapers that you can choose from, which is nice. I like to stick with my own wallpapers, and it seems like you guys like them too. So I'm gonna link both my wallpapers below, just in case you guys want to use them as your wallpapers. Also, another quick change, as you guys can see in this little section right here, I do have my AirPods on. So if you're listening to music, which I'll turn on, on my AirPods right now, and you go to use the volume, you can see that the AirPods are right there, so it knows what device you're using to listen to headphones or to listen to your music, which is kind of nice. A nice little add-on there. Another small tweak that they added was if you long press or 3D touch on the settings app, the battery is now an option in the quick toggle menu, which wasn't there before. It always shows a full battery, even though I'm at 78%. So just because it's full battery here doesn't mean that you guys are on full battery overall, but it takes you right into the battery screen. And then another thing, more into the foreshadowing as well, if you go into the settings, go to general, go to fonts. Now, before it just said no fonts installed, but now there's a direct link to open the App Store to download whatever font packages that you guys are accustomed to or accustomed to having. So, but right now if you press on the App Store, it kind of just takes you to the App Store page. The font App Store section is not open and available yet, and I'm sure that'll come with the official release of iPadOS 13 or iOS 13, whatever you want to call it. Also, one thing that I can't show you guys right now because I don't have an actual Xbox or PS4 controller, but if you are using an Xbox or PS4 controller, and you're connected via Bluetooth, obviously, it'll show up in your battery menu how much battery is left on that controller, which I think is a nice touch, especially because I use Xbox controllers for this thing all the time. I don't have it with me right now, but I just wanted to make that note and make sure you guys are aware of that. And then another thing is AirDrop icons. So normally, when you go to AirDrop something, you press the AirDrop button, it'll show kind of a person's profile picture, but now it's showing device types. So if you have an iPad, it'll show an iPad. As you guys can see, it shows an iPhone because my iPhone is round, it shows an iPhone. If you have a Mac OS device, it'll show that device also. So I kind of like that feature too. Cleans it up a little bit, makes it less confusing, which is really nice. And then the last visual feature, which I don't really use maps, I don't use Apple Maps. What you can do is if you put a destination into your maps, you can actually share your ETA. So if somebody's like, hey, how much longer until you get here? You can just quickly go into the maps while you're driving or while you're doing whatever you're doing and press share ETA, and then it sends it to them so they'll know exactly how much time is left until you arrive. So that's pretty much going to do it for this video. Just a quick update. Again, I think Apple needs to fix their naming on both their hardware and software products, because I do believe this should be just iPadOS 1.1 because it is a brand new OS. It's kind of crazy. Just updating your iPad to the iPadOS beta kind of gives you a whole new hardware device because it makes you interact with the device a lot differently. And a bunch of smaller tweaks. I like the add-on of the little widget for your headphones, the addition of being able to recognize how much battery is left on your Xbox controller or any MFI compatible controller. That's really nice. The foreshadowing of the wallpapers. I do think Apple's going to come out with a crazy color that people aren't really talking about, so that's going to be kind of cool. That's going to do it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Until next time, peace.